Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this cold Sunday evening, and we're here for the Project Cars PCS round 10 in the LMP1s at the fantastic Circuit de la Sarthe, otherwise known as the Le Mans 24-hour circuit. Now we're not going to be here for 24 hours because otherwise you just hear me and James snoring, which would not be a pretty sound. So yeah, time to introduce co-commentator. Obviously I'm Front Row Racing DP, and joining me in the commentary box is Front Row Racing JS. How are you this evening, James?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Looking forward to this final race.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how the guys get on this evening. I'm going to run through the standings in a moment while James just finishes off getting everybody in the lobby, getting the final invites sent out. Invites have been sent out to plenty of people, a few new faces as well. But I will go through the current standings before we head to the circuit in this final race in the LMP1s. And one thing that we might do as well a little bit, I didn't sort of pre-warn James about this, but one of the things we might do a little bit is just chat a little bit about what's going to be happening in Project Cars in the future season that's coming up. But before we get there, I quickly run through the standings, which is on a little picture for me at the moment, so if I get it wrong, I do apologise, folks. But Casely, he was crowned as the LMP1 champion a few races ago, been absolutely dominant in these LMP1s, sitting on 220 points. Second place is Dave the Harp on 165 points, but unfortunately with him moving house over Christmas and New Year, he's not able to race today. In third place is GT Gavin 2 on 111 points. He may be safe in that position because the guy that's next closest to him is from a Racing JS on 87, and he's with me in the commentary box, so Gavin should be, well, if he ends up in fourth place, he'll wonder what the hell has happened. GBM Oldman sitting in fifth place on 77 points, with Hesselden 90 only on 57, which, considering I've not commentated on many races this season, is a shock, because really there should probably be another 200 points on that number. GBM Vectra, he's next on 48 points, while Woolhouse is not far behind him on 42. And I tell you what, if both of those guys are, well, actually, Hesselden, Vectra and Woolhouse, if all three of those guys are on track today, there could be some position changes. After Woolhouse, it's Sir 2 on 40 points. He's joined by Dan Evs on 40 points. Jason right behind them on 37 points, with Duo Finn on 28. Farfborough on 25. Driver Montana, he's got 18. Temp Fear 17. Jonesy on 10. Even I've got 7 points. I don't know how I did that. And Grable on 6. So a few of those drivers I know won't be able to be racing this evening, and we have got a few new names on the board. And as I said, we're waiting, or have been waiting, for a couple of more drivers to come and join us. But we will send the guys over to the track in a few moments' time, and those drivers can always come and join us afterwards. So I was going to say, Overdyking and Jamie James, I think, should have been on that list as well. I can't remember if I've actually mentioned them. But yeah, a few new faces today. B Fastman, W Butler 89, Thomas Bertram. So we'll see how they get on today. So any news for us, James?
No news at the moment. Just keeping his eye out for people that maybe still wanting to drive. Last thing you want to do is send them to the circuit and somebody screaming saying "let me go," and they don't turn up. So may as well get as many as we can in. It's a lot better than previous races.
Yep. Now, something that the drivers they'll hopefully be aware of as well is that usually in the LMP1s they've got a 5-minute qualifying session, then about a 10-minute warm-up session, with Circuit de la Sarthe being rather long, as we can see on the track map there. They've been given additional qualifying and warm-up is reduced, because if we keep it on the 5 minutes, they'll be able to start a lap, but they won't be able to finish it. So they've got just enough time to get out there, get a lap in, and see where they qualify. Now, this circuit, it's one of the most historic tracks around the world, and as with most historic tracks, it comes with a little bit of tragedy. I mean, this circuit has been changed around over the years, slight differences. I mean, the Mulsanne Straight, for example, they never used to have chicanes, but now it does. But also, I mean, for perhaps the younger generation that may be watching this, if you want a little bit of a story about the history of Le Mans and motor racing and the mentality of history or people from history, there's a story of the Le Mans circuit. I'm looking at Casey here, but he's probably not going to be going out on track, to be honest. There's a story of this circuit that, to be honest, if you watched a documentary on it, it should put you close to tears, and if it doesn't, then you're either very, very heartless or just perhaps can't appreciate the gravity of what happened on this particular day. And I'll mention more about it in a moment as Thomas Bertram, he is out on track. We're having a look at him. Okay, so 1955, a long, long time ago, and before anyone says it, no, I wasn't around in those days. I may be getting on a bit, but I'm not that bloody old, folks. 1955, when health and safety was two words that were never ever put together. The pit straight here at Le Mans, the pit straight here at Le Mans had no pit wall. There was no such thing. So you had pit crews actually actively on the racetrack, and drivers would just pull over to the side of the road while other guys are doing 180 mile an hour next to them. Well, in 1955, go on, James.
Not only working on the cars, but also maybe having a quick smoke as they're refueling the cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff they used to do. They'd have a big tank filling up the car with fuel while they got a fag on. I mean, like I say, health and safety did not exist. But yeah, in 1955, there was a situation where a driver moved over to pit and was hit from behind, and it ended up with one of the cars basically exploding into the crowd that were next to the circuit, killed 83 people and injured a further 120, and the race carried on. So yeah, if you're interested in motorsport, go and watch a documentary on that. You can find them on YouTube or even other websites, but it'd really tell you a story, a history of this circuit that is perhaps something that you never knew about. And to bring it into more recent terms, looking at things like Mark Webber when he had his crash here where his car flipped on the Mulsanne Straight and ended up off the track, how lucky he was in comparison to that 1955 incident.
Yeah, that was, I believe, was he in a Mercedes-Benz?
I think he might have been, yeah.
He had a flip, yeah. I seem to remember watching that as a kid. Not the first time he's flipped. I seem to remember in Valencia had a good old flip there as well.
Yep, he didn't mind going upside down, did the Australian? To be fair, I mean, it is. I've just got off board Thomas, and he's just had another big moment. It looks like he might be struggling a little bit out there. I'm going to ride on board with Hesselden now because he has just passed Thomas, so effectively going to be the first to cross the line. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Casey put a lap in, because with him already being the champion, he might want to set himself a bit of a challenge, but given the nature of this circuit, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in first place by the end of lap 1.
Oh yeah, he'll be breezing through. And we've also got another newcomer, King Dubbin. He's turned up to a couple of races and he's just pulled up in the garage. A little better late than never.
Yep, I mean, there's nothing wrong with drivers joining late. I mean, if you're watching this and you want to get involved, then there's nothing wrong with you dropping James a message and asking for an invite. I won't be able to do it because I'm on the broadcast, obviously, but James may be able to get an invite sent out to you. So if you are watching and you want to get involved in Project Cars on PS4, drop him a message. Obviously, a little late, but at the same time, yeah, get yourself on the track. Okay, so Hesselden's going to be the first to set a lap time here, and I must admit, this is a circuit, James, that I absolutely love.
Oh yes.
I mean, it's a track.
It's one of them circuits that's just got absolutely everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's high speed. It's got tricky corners, but even the tricky corners are high speed. So yeah, it's a track that needs. Casey's just told me, James, that they were the GT3 standings you gave me. I thought they didn't quite sound right. Well done, Casey. Cheers for that. Ignore every bit of those standings that were given. It's a good job we're not here for 24 hours. So, James, your job then during this qualifying session, find the right standings and we can tell Casey what they are. Bloody
I thought
hell.
as soon as you said, I think Overdyking and Jemmy James are like, oops,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, if there's two people you don't want to annoy, it's them two. I'll have them on my case. Cheers. So anyway, yeah, I mean, this track, it's one of those where it's like, you know you need straight line speed, but at the same time, if your car can't handle the corners, the straight line speed is absolutely useless. Because, yeah, you'll be fast on the straight, but you won't get around those turns. And the Porsche curves, I mean, people rave about the Porsche curves, and I can understand why. High speed, full trust in the car, and if you get it wrong, it's a little bit like Suzuka. If you get the first bit wrong, you get in the second, third, fourth bit wrong, and you're either going to end up in the barrier or in the gravel. Hesselden, though, he's absolutely pushing it hard around the track here, and I'm not surprised. I think he still perhaps feels he's got a little something to prove, because he is a previous champion in the front row racing Project Cars divisions, and whether this season it's been through disconnections, bad luck, crashes, whatever, it's not quite gone his way. But at the same time, I know... Go on.
I do believe it's mainly down to connection issues with Hesselden this season. It's been running strong. Possibly could have gone on to win a fair few races, and halfway through the race, unfortunately, his internet's gone Pete's home.
Yeah, there's also the drinking, the partying, the waking up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday or a Saturday still drunk from the night before. So obviously a lot of factors can take part. But he's now on the track heading up towards the Porsche curves, and like I say, it's a section of track. It's not the most difficult of corners, because obviously the hairpins are the trickier turns around here, but it's a flowing set of corners that if you get your entry speed wrong, you're getting everything else wrong as well. Let's see how he gets in. Nice couple of downshifts early. The car looks like it's twitching a little bit, and Casely will be watching this thinking, okay, what kind of lap time's he going to do? Because that'll give me a reference of how quick he is in comparison to me. He'll go a little bit more twitching, but quite nicely on the exit of the Porsche curves into another high-speed section, and get ready for the final few or couple of chicanes, which are horrible, tricky corners. And one of the reasons they put these chicanes in is for safety, because it was at this point of the circuit where the car I mentioned earlier ended up into the crowd here. So yeah, partly for safety, and it is provisional pole position for Hesselden with a 3 minutes 28. Having a quick look at another new guy, might be the one that James mentioned earlier, King Dubin, sitting in second place at the moment, but no lap time set. He's just been dropped down a few places. I'll tell you what, we've got 3 cars crossing the line all at the same time, and one of them has stolen pole position. That's GBM Oldman's stolen pole position, with Adam 4600 in third place, and then Thomas just behind him in fifth place. Adam's been dropped down to fourth now as B. Fassman takes his position. The Dexy Drum treble 6 now exiting the pits. May not have enough time to get around and put a lap in, but King Dubin's coming down to the high speed right hand kink, and it looks as like King has hit a barrier somewhere, because his windscreen's a little bit cracked. Taking it very, very easy through, I think it might be Dunlop Curve. I should have got a track map ready for this one, apologies folks. Because this is one of the beautiful circuits where, it's Woolhouse into the Porsche curves and into the barriers of the Porsche curves. Yeah, this is one of the beautiful tracks that does have corner names.
Yeah, Woolhouse's rear end looks a bit suspicious to me. It looks like it's been chewed off by a T-Rex.
So you've been checking out Woolhouse's backside?
Well, it's undeniably wiggling about.
Well, I've heard that it's in pretty good shape because Hesselden keeps spanking it every weekend.
Well, Hesselden won't be happy though, because he's a full 3 seconds slower than Oldman, and he's in P3. But to be fair, with the length of the circuit, it's pretty close between the top 3.
Yep. Now, one of the things that we've always noticed in project cars is that the longer the circuit, sometimes the more spread out the field can get over the course of a race. And because it is a long lap here, obviously they cover more miles in the course of one lap. So, James, how many laps are we looking at for the race today?
We've got 9 laps on the cards today for the circuit, and yeah, it's going to be a test as well, down to how long can you take these tyres, because it is an aggressive tyre wear that we've got for the LMP cars. It's ×5, so it's down to whether people can stretch out. I think it may even be a 3-stop this race.
Well, wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's one of those tracks where, like you say, I mean, tyre wear was B. Fastman's ended his lap with a touch into the barrier. Stuart Heselden has continued on for another lap, so I don't know if you want to keep an eye on him. I'll just have a look at GBM Oldman as he's on another lap as well. I mean, one of the things I think I probably would have done here is, with the time available, is fuel it for 2 flying laps. I heard you go oomph a moment ago, so what have you spotted?
Alright, well, Woolhouse just giving King Duwin a little bit of a slam in the backside there.
Okay, well, GBM Oldman coming into the Porsche curves. Looks like he is pushing it, and I believe he is actually an old man. It's not just a play on words with his name. I think he is. He beat Dave the Hart for the oldest driver in project cars in front row racing.
I think he does beat Dave the Hart. I think he makes Dave the Hart feel a lot younger.
Yeah. Well,
and just to let you know as well, we've got another 2 drivers turned up. We've got Michelin Man, who won the last race round here in the GT3 car, so he's one to watch out for. That's Michelin Man. And Dex Zedrum Treble 6. I think we'll just call him Dex. Yeah, he's bombing round in the Audi, currently going through the Porsche curves, coming towards to start a flying lap, but it does look a bit wiggly.
Just having a look at W. Butler, who's just gone through those corners into the final chicanes now, and it was on a lot of curb, and it definitely unsettled the car. But he's sitting in 4th place at the moment. He's into the gravel. That's going to cost him a bit, and he's not improved his lap time, unfortunately. So let's see Dex coming across the line, currently sitting in 9th. He's not going to be able to get another lap in now, I don't think, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to just keep going and see if you can learn anything new.
Pop into P2, so he's gone quicker on his 2nd lap.
I've just spotted as well, got a message from Dave the Hart that says older, not old. No, he's obviously not watched Terminator, has he, James? Because what is it the Terminator says?
I haven't seen the new one, so if it's any sort of line from the new movie, it's always T1 and 2 for me.
I'm disappointed with you, James. I'm disappointed, man. I'm old, not obsolete.
Oof.
If you've not seen the new one, I think you really, really should, because it is pretty good. It is, yeah.
All right.
It is good. So
I think I'll prefer to watch that than Ghostbusters.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Ghostbusters is alright. It is alright. Also, I've been watching a lot of films lately. There's quite a few decent ones out there. I mean, one I can recommend is Hall Pass. It's not for kids, but yeah, it's definitely one that's worth watching. And if anyone has got kids, do not allow them to watch Sausage Party. It's not the kind of cartoon film you'd think it'd be, unless you think that it'd be a really, really rude one. So yeah, don't allow kids to watch Sausage Party. It's not a kids' film. Okay, minute and a half. Go on.
Heselden's popping round now. He's about halfway around the circuit. He's got 1 minute 20. Do you think he'll be able to finish this lap? I think he's just.
If he's gone through
the Porsche curves.
Yes, from there I'd say he's probably got just enough time to finish this lap. Yeah, a minute from there.
To be fair.
Yeah, he's coming up to the chicanes now at the final corner. Well, he's got 2 corners to go, and then he's there. Yeah, he's got plenty of time to finish off this lap. Do you think he's going to get close to Oldman's time? He's got 3 seconds to find.
I don't think he'd be pushing that hard. Oh, almost lost it. Can he take it?
Oh,
no,
he has lost it. He has lost it.
I think he knew that he was slightly up and just sort of pushed it too hard in the final couple of chicanes there.
I think he knew he was being watched. The pressure got to him. Thomas Bertram, pressure's got to him in the Porsche curves. That's unfortunate for him. Most of the drivers are back in the pits now, as they know they're not going to be able to get another lap in. Although there is a couple of guys that are heading towards the final few corners, but I don't think they're going to have enough time, unfortunately for them. B. Fastman is one of them. I think W. Butler is another one. Yep, they are now just about out of time. So Butler, he's looking like he's absolutely flying through those Porsche curves. We'll have a look at what the qualifying order is then. So GBM Oldman first place, Hesselden second, Vector in third, W. Butler in fourth, B. Fastman in fifth, Adam 4600 in sixth, H. Fawcett in seventh with no time set, Mitchell in man eighth, Dex in ninth, King Dubin in 10th, and Woolhouse 11th with K. Slate starting 12th. To warm-up session, so this is a chance for drivers who perhaps didn't get out on track to go out on track or get their setups finalised, their pit strategies sorted out, and get their fuel sorted out. I mean, strategy wise, James, I mean, if you're going to have to pit a couple of times, you surely got to fuel it for the whole race though, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. We did find, though, I did a bit of testing with Dave Harper at the beginning of the year, you could actually go quicker if you fueled it less, but the risk of losing it and then having to pit and then having a 16-second deficit onto your pit stop really didn't work out, whereas I'm just seeing Woolhouse now just completely almost lost it there, just rejoined to the circuit, but nice little bit of car control at 150 mile an hour there from Woolhouse. But yeah, it is technically faster to refuel, but the chance of having a mistake and risking it and then having 15 seconds on your pit stop is not worth it, I don't think.
No, I mean, also you've got to think as well, if you fuel it for a certain amount... Oh, Dex has just had an interesting off. Easy to do that, though. I mean, brake a little too much, drop it down a gear too many. You can easily find yourself spinning off into the barrier there. So I'm trying to flip through. So, okay, Slay has come out on track, so I'll have a quick look at him, because it would be interesting to see what lap time he could do, but we're not going to get to see. Yeah, I mean, let's say, for example, you start the race, you've got it fueled to do 2 laps, you have a crash on the first lap that then means you've got to pit. You've got to think about that with your fuel, because if you pit at the end of that first lap but don't put more fuel in, you've got to come in again at the end of the next lap, so you double cost yourself. So if you are going to run with no fuel, you have got to think to yourself, right, if I have to pit the lap earlier, remember to do the fuel to allow me to go that extra few miles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think especially around a circuit like this, the chances of making a mistake, if you do make a mistake, it isn't like it's going to be 1 minute and you're going to be in the pit lane.
No.
If you damage your suspension, you could be taking a fair few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at a 3.5 minute lap time for qualifying, you had major damage in that as well. You could be looking at 4 or 5 minutes for a lap time. I'm trying to think back in previous Formula Racing races around this track. There have been situations where drivers have ended up with like a 5 minute lap because of the damage they've got. So yeah, I mean, this is a circuit where cautious works for you. And if you get the opportunity to overtake on the straights, you go for it. But I mean, something I've always noticed as well on this particular circuit, if your brakes aren't quite set up right or your gears aren't quite set up right, you go for an overtake down the long straights. And when it comes to the braking zone, you try braking that a little bit later and downshifting that a little bit harder, you can very, very easily find your rear end overtaking your front end.
Yeah, but even though we've got Casely, who didn't set a lap time, he's definitely looking completely on it. And how do you think he's going to go forward with next season? Do you think it could, the order could completely mix up? Because we've seen this season he's just gone completely to another level.
Potentially. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, I will give a quick apology now that obviously Formula Racing had done a voting process for next season's car, and that voting process has kind of been put to the back burner, and the car for next season is going to be the DTMs. It depends. If someone comes along with a setup that is unbeatable, it could switch things around. I mean, there could be guys driving, having driven the GT3s, all these LMPs that they jump in the DTM and it just clicks for them. And there could be drivers that have done well in the GT3s or the LMPs. Casey's slowing down.
He didn't want to let us.
No, oh no, he's doing a practice start. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there could be guys that perhaps haven't done well and it could go well next season. There'll be guys that it could go, have done well this season and it might not go well next season. We just don't know until we actually get on the track in the DTMs. I mean, the DTM is a fantastic car, but as we know with project cars, if your setup's wrong for the track you're on, you're going to go slow. So setups are potentially going to be very, very important. One of the things that I do like about next season is the format of it. A sprint race with then a qualifying session and a feature race. It'll be very interesting to see how that would go, because personally I'd use the sprint race as a bit of a shakedown on my setup for the feature race. So it'd be interesting to see how that all pans out. But we're about to get ready for the start of the race here. 12 racers on the grid, and we're not going to be able to see them fly off at the start because obviously we are going to have to retire, which we'll do in a moment as the lights come on. So plenty of red lights, then they'll go green, and away the drivers go. They'll retire to the pit box and try and get out there up to the front straight away and hope that nobody did start behind me. And I tell you what, Hesselden, he's had a great start. He's leading the race, but not for long. Well, Michelin Man has managed to get past Hesselden. He's very busy into the first corner. We've got GBM Oldman chucking up the inside, and it's getting very, very physical now. Cars going slow with engine boost penalties. Michelin Man and Hesselden both penalised there, which is unfortunate for them because it looked like a bit of a GBM Old Man dive bomb that possibly caused all of that. That's put himself up to second place now. H. Fawcett up to third, but he's under pressure from W. Butler, I think it is. It is. He's now got himself up to third place. Well, let's see how the leaders are getting on side by side now down the Mulsanne Straight, and side by side is not where you want to be. You're much better off bump drafting someone than being side by side, as we can see in the battle behind. Here comes Casey from the back of the grid, and he's already, and I tell you what, there's Fawcett trying to bump draft as well, realising actually Casey's the one I should be following, as he's now up to second place.
Lovely, that is mental. He didn't even need slipstream. As we got in the background, what have we got going on there?
Difficult for me to see. I'll let you see what you can find out. But Casey, he was obviously helped out by. Yeah, I was going to say, Casey obviously helped out. Here he goes then on Oldman for the lead into the second chicane on the Mulsanne Straight, and into the lead he goes. Right, see you later, Casey.
Yeah, let's focus on everybody else because that is completely. Oh,
we've got a spinner. We've got a spinner in the second chicane. I'm not sure who that was. It was W. Butler, unfortunately. But Hesselden down to 8th place. That's massively, well, it will be massively frustrating for him. It looks like he's lining up a move, though. He is. Pulls to the inside.
Got a move on Dex. Then in front of Dex, it's W. Butler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Hesselden backed out of it.
Yeah. That was very early on the brakes there, but he's. I think he might get it on traction, but Will Butler all out of shape there on the exit.
I think Hesselden perhaps played a wise game there. Let these guys push hard into the corner, get them on the exit. He's getting them both now, driving comfortably past W. Butler now. So nicely done for him.
A move going on for P3 with H4.
No, there isn't, because Wallace has lost it into the barrier. It's put him back on the road. Somehow he's managed to survive it. Lucky for him there.
That was all getting a bit intense. As behind we've got Hesselden under pressure from Will Butler, but I think Hesselden on the exit, he's just covered him off there. And he's comfortably in P7 now.
Okay, so where is Michelin Man? Was it Michelin Man that looked like he got a power boost penalty? So
he's in 5th at the moment.
Well, a few drivers, mate. Sorry. Oh, Michelin Man is trying to take 4th.
That's going to be a power boost, I think. No, it's he must know that corner doesn't give power boost, but that is
Well,
Very,
it looked like he went for the move but backed out of it, so he's not gone for completing the overtake there. But I tell you what, I mean, K-Slade opening lap of the race. I was joking when I said I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in first by the end of lap 1. But here comes Michelin Man, and he'll know that he's got to get a shift on because Hesselden is beginning to close the gap in on him. So here he goes then, trying to make a move into turn 1 and gets ahead. But I wouldn't be surprised if Woolhouse is going to try and fight back if he can. But as we've seen, braking late and hard into turn 2, not always the best of things to do. But Hesselden, yeah, he's coming for him now.
Yeah, got a nice run there out of the chicane at the top of the hill. But it's his good friend Woolhouse in front of him. I don't think there'll be much love lost if they get side by side. Ooh, that was so close to be both in the wall there.
Well, it looked like Woolhouse was losing the rear end, and he'll be thanking Hesselden for being there, because I think if he hadn't have been, he'd have been off into the barrier. But now Woolhouse is going to have to be careful of W. Butler beginning to close in on him as well. So Hesselden 5th place, Michelin Man in 4th place. We'll keep an eye on them trying to catch Fawcett in 3rd place. GBM Oldman still running in 2nd place, and oh my days, Casey's got about a 4-5 second lead on him already.
I'm surprised I haven't lapped him yet.
Well, I'm going to keep on board with K-Slay for the rest of this lap. If you can have a look through the field, see what we've got, and if you need me, shout me, because I'm interested to see what kind of lap time K-Slay does on this first flying lap. If he goes into the pit stop, we'll be massively disappointed with him, because it'd be interesting to see what kind of lap time he can do. But a 3:30 from a standing start suggests that potentially if he'd have done qualifying, it'd have been on pole position by a mile.
Got Hesselden, who is attacking Michelin Man now out of the exit of the 2nd chicane on the Mulholland Straight. But Michelin Man looks to be fairly comfortable.
Well, I mean, he had both of these drivers had a very good start to the race, getting themselves up to the lead. Obviously, something happened with GBM Oldman that put him down a few places, and perhaps tried to grab a few back into turn 3, but it didn't quite work. It worked for him actually, because he got himself up to 2nd place, and the guys that were leading dropped down to about 7th and 8th.
Yeah, definitely. But Michelin Man is one to watch out for, as he did win the race last time at this circuit with the GT3 cars.
He's gone defensive. Yeah, well, Hesselden! He's had a half spin. He's managed to recover it.
Rare moment there from Hesselden.
Well, the thing is, that corner, the kink right, it's such a high-speed corner that when you're following a car, it's very easy to get caught out by perhaps where they position their car or when they brake. And he was very, very twitchy under braking, so perhaps he did get caught out a little bit, which then made the car very unstable mid-corner. I mean, these are cars that they don't like low speed. They love high-speed, fast-flowing corners, but you put them in a hairpin or something like that, they're not the prettiest of cars to drive.
Casey's just coming to the end of his first flying lap, so let's see what time he pops in. It's a 21. 3-minute 21.
Yeah, I think GBM Oldman has just realised, unfortunately I'm not going to catch him. He's done a 3:26.
Five.
Oh, battle third and fourth.
3:10s.
Fawcett and Michelin Man both ran wide, but Fawcett half spin. That's going to allow Hesselden through as well. He got a power boost penalty, did Fawcett, and had a half spin. So here comes GBM Vectra then. He's going to try and steal 5th place. He has done, but here comes Woolhouse and W. Butler. Mentioned earlier on, this is a battle that will get close as well, and W. Butler's in position to potentially have a look. He's trying, looking left, looking right. Oh, and he's tried to go for the move, but a bit of a nudge.
That was a bit... Woolhouse come on and just tried to give him a bit of a taste of his own medicine there.
Well, from the angle I saw, it definitely looked like W. Butler went to move left to go for the move. I don't know if Woolhouse sort of went to cover it off or not. I couldn't tell from the angle I had, but Woolhouse is into the barrier. His rear end's gone. Okay, we have got another driver as well that I didn't spot in qualifying or warm-up. Kerim Captain. He's running in 9th place at the moment, just ahead of Adam 4600, and nobody pitted at the end of the 2nd lap there, James. So what we're thinking, possibly end of the 3rd lap, 2 stoppers, Adam 4600 making the move, better exit. out of the first handful of corners there, down the Mulsanne straight. He's going to have to hope that he's got a better straight line speed, and I tell you what, it looks like he has. We've already got one retiree from the race. I can't tell you who that is right now, unfortunately.
We've got 11 drivers remaining.
So Casely leading the way then here at Le Mans, no surprise. GBM Oldman second place, big gap now down to third place, and Hesselden is going to try and catch Michelin Man if he can. I mean, they both didn't have the best of first or second laps there.
It looks like to me that Fawcett is catching Vectra as they're heading down towards the double right-hander. Big heavy braking zone here. And Vectra's leaving a lot of time on the table through that corner. He could go a fair chunk wider to open up this straight, but he was playing it very much by the book there. Oh, Woolhouse got Powder's penalty in P8. I think he's going to lose out there to Adam 4600. And Woolhouse.
Karen Captain's got past him as well. So yeah, it could be power boost penalty. Maybe damage. I'm wondering, there was a big hit he had into the barrier, so it could be a bit of damage there as well. W Butler, I don't think he can quite see Fawcett on some of the shorter sections of the track. He can't, but Fawcett is definitely looks like he's catching up to GBM Vectra in 5th place. So the two main battles at the moment is for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah,
and 5th and 6th.
Hesselden's got the magnets on. He's trying to cling on to the back of Michelin Man.
Just to let you know, Casely's gone on for another lap. So has GBM Oldman. I think they're going to be one stop in this race, which is not a bad idea to do. I mean, if the tyres can one stop, you go for the one stop, because the time you lose in the pits, you're not going to pull back with a fresh set of tyres. You're going to have one sort of potentially much faster lap, but it's not going to benefit you overall. Michelin Man, though, definitely coming under pressure from Hesselden, which is good for us.
Fawcett on the back of Vectra going down the start-finish straight, but Fawcett looks to have a wiggling all over the place, trying to distract Vectra in the mirrors.
Well, Vectra's got past Fawcett, and Fawcett's spun. He's spun. I mentioned these cars don't like the slower corners, and they really, really don't. I'll tell you what, W Butler closing in on as well on W Fawcett now, so Fawcett's going to have to be careful. See, Adam 4600, he's pulled out a little bit of a gap on Karim, so Adam will be trying to gain on the cars ahead of him.
Woolhouse is the first to pit.
Okay, I do think he must have had a little bit of damage in there as well, looking at how hard he did hit the barrier. Michelin Man, though, I'll tell you what, his car's looking fairly damn quick in a straight line, so you were saying he's leaving a little bit on the table in some of the corners, and it could be because he has gone for a much higher sort of higher speed setup on the car, which, well, it can work. I mean, if you can, I said in qualifying, if you can hold it through the corners, that is probably the best way to go. I mean, it's been a long time since I've driven around here, but when I was setting cars up for here, it was literally a case of, right, do the mechanical side of the car and then put on the lowest aerodynamic setup possible and increase it until you can just make it round the corners. At that point, you go, right, don't go any higher.
It's all very spread out at the moment. Closest cars on the circuit are Michelin Man and Hesselden. But Hesselden, yeah, like I say, he does seem to be losing out in a straight line, but then seems to gain a fair chunk back in the corners. Yep.
Well, Casely still leading. He's managed to drop the lap time now down to a 3:20 as well. And GBM Oldman, his best is still a 3:26. So Casely pulling out a monstrous lead up at the front, as Michelin Man still sitting in 3rd place. I mean, the gap is quite big. And it's what happens at the nature of this circuit sometimes. I mean, if you get someone that is able to gain a second or two over the course of a lap, then there's not a lot anybody else can do about it.
But when you've got somebody pulling out 5 seconds a lap over everybody, it's a bit of a pretty much like a different formula.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that at a shorter track, the gap would probably be perhaps a 1 second advantage. Force it big sideways into the gravel. He may lose another position. He may lose 2 more positions as W. Butler and Adam 4600 come past him. Yep.
And
he's going to lose.
Got in the background Captain, Captain, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get used to these new boys.
Yeah, so I think Fawcett's possibly got a bit of damage here, which means Kareem's going to have to be careful. They're giving him plenty of room there. Nicely doing. You can see how much Fawcett's car is wiggling there. Let's have a quick look up at the front. Casely hasn't pitted. GBM Oldman hasn't pitted, but Michelin Man has. And Hesselden, has he followed him in?
Hesselden.
Yes, he has.
He's pitted, yeah. Looks to me like he may have lost a chunk of time there over Michelin Man. It looks to be about 4 or 5 seconds behind him.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. So,
Vector also in the pit.
Yeah.
We've also got Will Butler, I believe. He's straight lining the pit lane entry there, straight over the gravel trap.
Well, I mean, for anyone that hasn't practiced the pit entry here at Le Mans, it's very easy to get caught out by it. Force it into the pits as well, no surprise there. He has got damage on the car. Kareem Captain, he has continued on. B. Fastman coming into the final few corners now. May be able to possibly gain a place here. I'm just wondering though, I mean, for Hesselden and Michelin Man, he's already back out on track, so I tell you what, that was a rapid stop for Michelin Man.
I think his tyres haven't been changed, and if that's the case, he's going to be foaming.
Yes, I mean, looking at the gap now between himself and Hesselden is only now coming into sort of turns 4 and 5. So yeah, a lot of either that or Hesselden's had a monstrously slow, but I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Leader Casely. I mean, looking at when these guys have pitted, sort of end of the 4th lap, or end of the 3rd lap, so that would potentially be a 2-stop strategy. I think Casely is going to try and stretch it out to a 1-stop. If he pits at the end of this lap, then he's only got 4 laps remaining, and he's already done 5. So for Casely, yeah, stretching out a 1-stop should not be a problem at all. Michelin Man!
Ooh. Almost nice little save there from Michelin Man. I thought he was going to be aiming the wrong way with a wheel missing there.
It's so easily done on some of the curbs in around this track, though. Quite a lot of them are nice and flat and you can really use them, and then there's the odd one where if you just straddle it a little bit wrong, it doesn't like it. It's like a bucking bronco.
And from next season as well, the assists will be taken away from the drivers just to give an extra challenge for them. This season they have been able to use assists, but going forward the traction control and ABS will be removed, so that will make the DTM cars a little bit more of a struggle to handle, but pretty much similar to these cars in the way you need to run the car as low as possible, but yeah, the ride height on the curbs can just spit you off at any moment.
Yep, definitely can. So I think closest cars on the track at the moment may be 8th and 9th place. I think Fawcett's just had a bit of a problem at the second chicane, and Woolass is gaining on him quite quickly.
Casely's in the pits and Oldman is just heading down pit lane. I think Casely's going to be setting off any moment.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, actually, Oldman's worked out how to slow Casely down, have the pit box next to him. Now, what will be interesting as well is to see what happens with Michelin Man, whether he's going to be coming straight back into the pits as well. But Casely, his lead was big enough that he's managed to pit and come out in first place, obviously. Has Adam 4600? No, he's not quite got to the pits yet. Michelin Man has continued on, so maybe it was a fuel stop for Hesselden as well, and Michelin Man not needing fuel, and maybe it didn't change his tyres. Maybe he's just gone for, I don't know, a damage repair or something like that, but it was a very, very quick stop.
Yeah, it's he doesn't appear to be losing much time to Adam 4600, so
well,
bit of a weird one that. If he's managed to work out how to do a pit stop in rapid time. Fair play to him.
Well, he won't be losing any time to Adam 4600 because he is into the pits, and so is Kareem Kaptan, as Hesselden passes the both of them. GBM Vectra just coming up towards pit entry now, but he's not going for the pits, so he's quite safe at the moment. So what we have got now is GBM Oldman not that far ahead of Michelin Man. Michelin's Man pit stop was so fast that he's managed to close in on GBM Oldman. He's got him within his sights.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's only about 3 seconds behind him now, heading into the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight. So yeah, he's definitely, like I say, impressed us in the previous race in the GT3s, and if he really is on decent tyres, he's looking decent here for snatching P2.
But would it be possible for him to perhaps use the hardest compound of tyre and run low fuel and just top the tank up with a little bit of fuel at the stops?
Maybe, possibly. That could be the strategy he's going for.
Well, if it is the case, I still think he's going to have another pit stop to do. But it could give him an opportunity of trying to gain on Oldman here, who I don't think he's going to have to stop again. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Hesselden as well. Let's see, where is he? He's sitting in 4th place, but he's a whole section of the Mulsanne straight behind. That's how much time Michelin Man has gained through a pit stop there.
And Michelin Man as well has just set exactly the same time as Hesselden in Sector 1, so not losing anything on time performance. So he's definitely looked into some sort of setting there that's giving him a decent advantage, because Oldman looks to be under pressure now.
Well, let's see. I mean, he did, what was it? It was the end of the 3rd lap that he made a stop, so it wouldn't necessarily be at the end of this lap if he was going to stop again. It'd be at the end of the next one. So it'd definitely be worth keeping an eye on him when he does go for making that second stop. But, I mean, still, it's got to be said. I mean, Casely, once again, showing that he's just head, shoulders, knees and toes above everybody else in the LMP1s.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, we can have a little chat as we're going into a bit of a lull about next season. So as we mentioned earlier, we're going to have each event's going to be split into 2. It's going to be an 8 event championship. Yeah, so we're going to have the sprint race, which will be, I believe it'll be about a third or a quarter of the race distance of the feature race. So that sprint race will be a random grid, and the top 3 finishers from that sprint race will then not be allowed to qualify for the feature race. So it's just making it even more difficult for the people who want to win both. It means that they'll be starting from the back of the grid. Just trying to think of any other little differences that will be going into next season. So I think Oldman mentioned to me the other day which differences are going to happen next season with Season 5 with the DTMs, and I did mention to him, I believe the blue flag situation will be removed next season, but that's still up for debate. But it would make a bit more challenging situation, especially on shorter circuits, when you need to get past somebody and you've got to go the old-fashioned way and you've got to make that overtake to get past if you're losing time.
Well, it looks like H. Fawcett is out of the race, and so is W. Butler. So 2 drivers no longer in this event, unfortunately. It sounds like W. Butler not overly happy either. I'm trying to find out what happened there. So yeah, I mean, blue flag situation, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, in some race series, I think, yeah, you can get away with not having it. But in things like Formula 1, yeah, I think in some respects you might need it. But at the same time, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a bit old school in it, but it's one of those things, right? If you've got cars on the track, then should they have to get out of people's way? If you're the leader, you say yes. If you're the guy in second place, you say no, because you make it so that the leader has to overtake you. I mean, I know in Formula 1 years ago they never used to have blue flags, and what they used to find would happen is that a driver in a sort of a backmarker situation would let some people through, but then they'd come across one or two that go, no, you're going to have to overtake me. And that's where I think it perhaps got, in Formula 1 terms, got a bit sort of, well, hang on a minute, that's not quite right. You either battle everybody or you don't. And I can see why blue flags were brought in. It's not a bad idea, but at the same time, it's one of those where, yeah, I mean, with some races, yeah, I mean, there'd be, in some ways, nothing wrong with saying, right, you've got to overtake. I tell you what.
I mean, with next season, the shorter circuits should make it a lot more closer. As we're seeing, we're probably at the longest circuit on this game, apart from the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife. I think this is the second longest circuit, and as you can see, it's spread out, and it's no offence, it's getting a little bit dull, and we could do with a bit more spice or spice this up.
Yeah, it's the nature of the long tracks on project cars. I mean, it's always been the way. I mean, if you race on a short track, there's non-stop action all the way through, whether it be for the lead or back markers or what have you. Michelin Man has continued on for another lap, but I tell you what, he's lost a lot of time to GBM Oldman in second place. But yeah, I mean, it's racing on shorter circuits will definitely give a hell of a lot more action, and that's obviously one of the things that we want when it comes to the racing. It's more enjoyable for the drivers. I mean, Vectra nearly went airborne on one of the curbs there. I mean, racing at circuits like Nordschleife, like Le Mans, you're not really in a race with other cars. Effectively, you're in a race against the track. It's you against the circuit. I mean, that's definitely so around the Nordschleife. And I mean, even if you look at real Le Mans, it's exactly the same there. Yeah, the opening few hours, it's all kind of close and battling as Vectra's got a power boost penalty. This might give Adam 4600 an opportunity to overtake here. Yeah, the opening few hours of Le Mans, it's like watching Formula 1. There's plenty of action, there's a lot going on. As I've just lost James from the chat party, he'll be able to come back and join us. But yeah, as Le Mans goes on, it doesn't become a race between car versus car. It's more a race of car versus track, as Adam 4600 now closes in on the back of GBM Vectra after that mistake at the final chicane, and that's going to put him under pressure down the Mulsanne straight. So, and he's taken a lot of curb again, and a power boost penalty again. Yep, it is. That allows Adam 4600. I was about to say, just as James had asked for a bit of spice, we got it, and he wasn't here to commentate on it, unfortunately. But that has moved Adam 4600 up to 5th place. Woolhouse, he's in 7th place. Bit of a gap between himself and Kareem Captain. But Be Fast Man must be gaining in on Kareem Captain, because it didn't change camera on me there. So that'll be something for me to try and keep an eye on. So we'll see if Be Fast Man is going to be able to catch up to him. Let's have a look up at the front. K-Slay 1 still leading this race. Managed to get his lap time now down into 3:19.690. That's only 5 seconds quicker than the pole time set by GBM Oldman. Bit of a moment on the curb though. He's going to have to take it a little bit easy, because I don't think he'd want to end this race with himself in the barrier. GBM Oldman running in second place. Quite a gap between himself and K-Slay now. I think he'll appreciate that K-Slay just a hell of a lot quicker in this race today, but a second place he'll take all the same. Michelin Man running in third. He got very close to GBM Oldman after the first round of pit stops, but since then the gap has just opened up. I don't know if it's Michelin Man looking after tyres or looking after fuel, but he managed to pull out a massive gap on Hesselden, and that gap is still apparent. I don't know if Hesselden's going to be able to close it up, not in the one lap that is remaining. And then down in 5th place, as we saw, Adam Field 4600 managing to sneakily steal that position. But GBM Vectra looks like he's not giving up on that points scoring place just yet. Although, to be fair, all finishing positions are point scoring places. So Casely is now on to the final lap of the race. Let's take a quick look at the running order at this point. So Casely first, GBM Oldman second, Michelin Man third, Hesselden fourth, Adam 4600 in fifth, GBM Vectra in sixth, Woolhouse in seventh, Kareem Captain in eighth, and B Fastman in ninth, with Fawcett still at the track but not on track anymore. And as I mentioned, B Fastman beginning to catch up to Kareem Captain, and Casely is actually catching up to B Fastman. So, James, just as you were asking for a little bit of spice, we got a little bit, but you weren't here. It does look like we got B Fastman. He was catching up, but now he's going very, very slow. I don't know if that was a power boost penalty or just taking it cautious. He's got Casely behind him and wisely lets him through. It'd be also wise to tag on to his slipstream and see if he can gain, because he was catching Kareem Captain, but I don't think he's going to catch him anymore. No, something must have happened for B Fastman there, unfortunately. The next closest battle we've got is Adam 4600 and GBM Vectra, but Vectra must have had a bit of a problem somewhere because he has also lost quite a bit of time now. So yeah, it's down effectively then to whatever happens in this final lap of the race, as Casely 1 is nearing the halfway point of the lap.
Now, apologies to the viewers for that. I just had a bit of a Wi-Fi glitch, which has completely screwed me over, so I can't see other than watching on YouTube now. Okay, well, enjoy watching. I mean, thankfully it happened at the point it did, where there's not long left in this race. So, I mean, Casely's got the Porsche curves and then the final few corners to go. I've got a feeling though, I mean, this is going to be another race where he's going to get to the end and go, I need more of a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. But I think he knows himself that he's found this setup that just completely demolishes everybody else, and really there's no other competition. But I think he relishes the fact that every single week he can turn up at an event and probably not put that much practice in and know for a fact that the setup is absolutely solid and the car will do exactly what he wants it to do.
Yeah, I mean, for a race driver, there is nothing more crucial than having a setup where you know exactly what the car will do. You know if you turn and throttle, you know exactly what the car's going to do. And Casely is going to savour this moment as he approaches the line, either out of fuel or just very, very slowly. Or is he letting the lapped car back through? He is. He's letting the lapped car back through. Quite nicely done from him there, and that means he can cross the line at whatever speed he likes, as long as he doesn't lose the position. I'm sure he'll be happy. But it will be another victory for Casely, as long as he goes about another metre and a half forward. Obviously he's waiting for GBM Oldman just to add it into is it insult to injury?
Be funny if he stalls it.
It'd be funny if he's run out of fuel. To run out of fuel and be that far away, yeah. GBM Oldman, he's not that far behind. Here he comes. There we go. Casely then crosses the line to take the victory here at Le Mans. GBM Oldman second place. Michelin Man, God knows how he did it with the pit stop, but he managed to totally free himself up into third place. So across the line he's going to go. It will be a third place finish for him. Hesselden, a bit of a messy final chicane and a dirty gravel trap. These engineers will love that. They give him a jar of gravel after the race saying, hey, these are yours. But fourth place it is for him. Adam 4600 in fifth place, going through the Porsche curves. I think he'll be fairly pleased with that one. I mean, Adam, he is a driver that has seemed to get on a little bit better with project cars than perhaps he has done with F1. But I mean, F1 it is one of those games that you can't really just jump on with no practice and expect to be quick at each circuit. But Adam 4600 is going to cross the line in fifth place. A fantastic result for him. And in sixth place, a few corners to go, GBM Vectra. A couple of tricky moments in the final couple of laps there, cost him fifth place. But he may still be happy with a sixth place finish. So one more corner to go for Vectra, and then he can get to the finish line, and it will be a 6th place finish for him. And then in 7th place we have Woolhouse. He may have lost the rear end a few times and bodywork all over the car, but he's still going to get to the end of the race. Although I say that, he's still got half a lap to do. But yeah, looking good for 7th place at the moment.
But yeah, a bit of news there as well. I heard through the grapevine that GBM Vectra has been so nice as to purchase a steering wheel for GBM Oldman. So I think Oldman's got somebody to say thank you to end up on the podium.
Okay.
I think they're good friends going way back.
Is it Oldman using a wheel then using that wheel in this race then?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get more info on that in the podium then. Woolhouse, 2 corners to go, and he will be crossing the line to finish off in 7th place. Has he wanted to try and do a couple of donuts? He might be. He won't want to lose a place though. He's in 7th at the moment. He's got a little bit of time until Kareem Captain gets there. You might want to get a shift on Woolhouse because you're about to lose the position. So you're in 7th place and Kareem Captain in 8th place. And B Fastman, it looked like he was going to catch Kareem with 2 laps to go. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. So it is going to be a 9th place finish for him. Unfortunately, was it 4 drivers dropping out throughout the course of the race? I think W Butler and H Fawcett may have had a coming together, which possibly ended both of their races. But B Fastman is going to be the last of the finishers. So across the line he goes. So confirmation of the result then. K-Slay in 1st, GBM Oldman 2nd, Michelin Man in 3rd, Hazelden 4th, Adam 4600 5th, Vectra in 6th, Woolhouse 7th, Captain in 8th, and B Fastman in 9th.
So there we go. That is the end of season 4 of the Project Cars. That has been one hell of a long season.
Yep, now I'm just going to invite in the podium sitters into the chat so we can have a little bit of a chat with them. So apologies for the blue screen there. That is where I would love it if PlayStation would allow you to select an image you could put on the screen in that place, in the place of that blue screen. It would look so much better, but there we go. It was an interesting race to end the season on. As we mentioned during the broadcast, unfortunately, I mean, Le Mans is one of those circuits where it's very easy to get a little bit of a spread out field. I mean, the 3 main circuits on Project Cars for that is the Nordschleife, it is Le Mans, and it's Bathurst as well. Once the field gets a little bit spread, there's not a lot that can be done about it. But well done to our podium sitters anyway. I believe all 3 of them have now joined us, so please make sure you got your microphone set to allow to be shared and try and keep the swearing down to a minimum. K-Slay, we're going to move over to you. I joked in qualifying that it wouldn't be surprised to see you go from last to first on the first lap. I didn't mean it. You didn't have to go and do it. An interesting opening lap, though, I'm guessing, because it looked a bit interesting up into turn 1 and 2, and a few cars going a little bit slow, weren't they, Oldman? We'll get on to you in a moment. So, K-Slay, your thoughts on watching the qualifying there and the race?
Yeah, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Turn 1, 2 and 3. Just cars everywhere. Tried to pick a line and 30 seconds later I was in 2nd place, so yeah, it was an interesting one, getting through that, but yeah, after that it was just trying to get fastest laps. Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much you were hurting everybody's self-pride by popping in the lap times you did in the race? Could you not have just gone a little slower?
But I want to have some fun as well.
Okay, James, I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah, I mean, we said straight away, K-Slay hasn't qualified. We knew that you'd be probably doing that, seeing as you've dominated the championship and won it. But then to literally watch you within the first, not even a minute, and you was in P1. It was just like you didn't even need slipstream, didn't need anything. The setup was absolutely spot on, and nobody could challenge you.
Yeah, just had it dialed in well. I like the track as well. The car's really good around here, so it was fun to drive. And yeah, it would have been nice to have a bit more of a battle to get through, but I started as further back as I could, so.
Yeah, no, it was very, very sensible, to be fair. I mean, lots of people, as you say, turn 1, 2 and 3 just pile driving into each other, and you were just keeping calm and then just picked off the scraps down the straight.
Yeah, just sort of held off the start for a bit, let everyone get away, and then just try and find the gap and get through it.
Nice
Okay, okay. GBM Oldman, we didn't get to see what happened to you at the start, but it looked like you went from pole down to about 4th place. We think we saw what might have happened up at turn 2, but why don't you talk us through the start of your race?
For one, I forgot to take the anchor out the back. I never put it in gear. Of course, went to lift off and nothing happened. I just sat there. It dropped it into first gear, of course, then it bogged down. So everybody come flying past, Richard on the grass one side, and somebody come up on the right hand side of me. And when I got to the corner, there was no cars there except for Casey. They'd all hit each other and sent each other off, I think. And I was off, but I couldn't catch Casey. He was just too fast. Yeah, bit of a problem there. No gears.
Okay, about halfway through the race after the first round of pit stops, when you came out of the pits, Michelin Man wasn't too far behind you. Did you sort of, when you went into the pits, a case of that gap's all right, come out of the pits, like, hang on a minute, he's a bit closer than I thought he'd be.
Yes, it was a bit hair-raising. I sort of went a little bit quicker, or tried to go a little bit quicker. And he was catching me up, but I think he got a couple of time penalties, which pushed him behind. And then the second from last lap, I ended up hitting the curb, which pushed me over one area, which gave me 5 seconds, and then over the other side, which gives me another 10 seconds. And I could see him coming again, but I managed to pull away. Thank God.
Okay, James, over to you.
I believe you also got somebody to say thank you to us. I believe you received a bit of a present over the holidays.
Yes, I did. Yes, GBM Vector sent me a nice steering wheel. Brand new one. G29, I think it is.
You'll be asking for it back now.
Spot on. But yeah, poor old Richard, he was behind me. I don't know. That's normal, Rich. I know you're listening, mate. Oh.
Do you think that the steering wheel did help you out with your performance?
It's got me a lot quicker. On the old wheel I was doing 27s, 28s, and I actually got down to the 22s practicing, so there was 5 seconds there.
Nice one. Nice one. So that is P2, that's GBM Oldman, and then moving forward to Michelin Man, P3. It's becoming a bit of a habit, ending up on the podium in your first 2 races for Front Row Racing.
Not bad, mate. Yeah, I had a good start. I think I was into first place come the second corner, and then I don't know, someone in a pink car put me off, give me a corner cut. And then as I was trying to get back on, there was just cars all over the place. I think I got it again. Give me another corner cut, and I was, don't know, 5th or 6th then.
Yeah.
Well,
it's go on, Dave.
I was going to say, the view I had, I wouldn't be surprised that if the person in the pink car also got a bit of a nudge from someone. It looked like it did get very, very physical down into those opening corners. There's only really one question that I'd want to ask you, and I'll hand over to James, and that is, your pit stop. Was your pit stop strangely fast, or did Hesselden have a poor one?
No, I just didn't change my tyres. I just pitted and just come right back out. I didn't put fuel or change tyres. I just went for it on one set of tyres.
So was that a mistake, them not changing the tyres?
No, I meant to do that. It was the only chance I could get to get a podium. So I think if I would have put tyres on, who is it, Esselden, is it? I think he would have passed me. His car was way quicker than mine.
I'm just thinking. I'm wondering. I'm probably going to really upset you now. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. In the LMP ones, there's no mandatory pit stops, is there?
I don't believe there is a mandatory.
No, it was, yeah, it was a mandatory pit stop.
One.
Yeah, that's why I went in.
So,
Or I wouldn't have even went in. I would have just stayed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've just seen it on the screen. James, you bad boy, forcing them a mandatory pit stop.
Well, I would have been staying out, mate.
Oh.
But there was no chance. Casely was on another pace, really, so that pace was his in the bag.
Yeah.
So which tyres were you on? Were you on the hard tyres?
No, softs, mate. I just
Softs?
on the softs, yeah. I had no grip in the last 2 laps, like, but...
Well, that would explain though how your pit stop was very, very quick. Apologies for James putting the mandatory pit stop on. I mean, like I say, I mean, catching Casely possibly not on the cards. Although you may want to have a look at whether it would have put you ahead of GBO Oldman. I know I'd be looking at that.
Yeah, I think I would have got ahead of him if I didn't have to pit stop, but...
Ooh, contentious in the last race. Over to you, James.
Yeah, apologies, Michelin man. That is my fault.
That's okay,
yeah,
mate.
no,
I thought that was a part of the rule anyway. You'd have to pit, know what I mean?
It were me fiddling about with settings for next year, and obviously forgot to take that one off. But still, I mean, that just showed how well you do on your tyres for next season. Do you think you'll be able to use that trick going forward?
Maybe, but what is next season? It's default setup, innit?
It's we're still finally deliberating on what the settings are going to be, and there'll be posts going out this week. But I believe it's going to be the DTMs, and we're going to revert back to use whatever setup you want. We'll put out a base setup for people to use.
If they want to.
But yeah, it's pretty much.
So we can put our own setup in and take the fuel out?
The fuel will be set to real, so you'll burn it off as normal. But yeah, no, it's just you going through that race and just letting us know that you haven't changed your tyres just completely baffles me that you were even able to get to the end. I know you had no grip on the last couple of laps, but that is mind-boggling.
I have done a couple of leagues, like, you know what I mean, and I try not to change my tyres if I, you know what I mean.
Casely's
very well
noting
done,
this down, right? Watch out for Michelin man doesn't change tyres. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, even if there is a mandatory pit stop rule and someone is good on their tyres, there's nothing to say that they have to change their tyres. All you have to do on a mandatory pit stop race is go into the pits. So yeah, I mean, if someone is good on their tyres, then even if mandatory pit is on for next season, it could still be a benefit to those people. But there you go. Okay, James, anything else you want to ask the drivers?
No, I was going to say, Casely, you've completely dominated both of the leagues in Season 4. Season 5, have you got any thoughts going forward, and do you think it'll be as easy next season, or do you think these charges such as Michelin Man and Oldman are going to give you a run for your money?
I hope they do. I think it'll be good to have some battles up at the front, get Michelin Man in, get a few others in, and then get some good races in.
Well, if it's any consolation, every driver that has been the Project Cars champion has had a shocking season the next season. So we'll look forward to it. You're welcome. Just Ask, Hesselden, James, Dave the Art. It's all gone that way. So we'll have to see what happens. As James mentioned, though, there will be more information posted on Facebook over the next week or so, because obviously this is the final race of this particular season. There probably will be a little break as well before the next season gets properly starting to give James and his helpers time to get everything set up before the season gets going. I just want to check, Friday nights, there's still going to be sort of open lobbies available on the Friday nights?
I believe so. I think Casely is going to be opening up a couple of...
Yeah, I'll be on most Fridays doing
races.
some community stuff.
So that's the Fridays sorted, and then the Sundays will be the DTM races. So I think we'll leave the Fridays open to cars which come with the base game, so that people can give it a test if they're not regulars, and then it's going to get down to business with the DTM cars, with the newcomers giving the old guard a run for the money.
Yep, so if anyone has been watching, obviously there's a couple of ways you can get in touch with Front Row Racing. One of them is on the Facebook page. Drop us a message and we'll make sure the correct admin gets in touch with you. You can find the Front Row Racing Project Cars community on the PlayStation Network, or you can drop Front Row Racing JS or Casely a message on PSN. And as Casely said, he'll be hosting the Friday sort of open lobbies. So if you do want to get involved in that, just drop him a message, let him know you want to get involved, and he can obviously make sure that you can get in on that. But for the Project Cars Season 4, comes to an end at quite a fitting circuit, the Le Mans 24 Hours, where Casely once again shows why there's a number one at the end of his name. Although he might want to change it to 2, because I think he did wrap up both championships. But very well done to Casely. We're going to have to find someone to come along and give you a run for your money. So anyway, keep an eye out on Facebook, keep an eye out on the community, keep an eye out on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for taking part, guys, and thank you very much for watching at home and commenting. Plenty more content available on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel as well. Reference F1. So yeah, get in touch if you want to get involved. Thank you very much for watching. It's been Front Row Racing Project Cars, and we'll see you all again soon. See you later, everybody.